You might feel left in the dark about if Vancouver, Washington is right for you. Let's shed some light on 3 key reasons people are moving up to Vancouver, Washington. We're going to go over the tax benefits. We're going to go over some great neighborhoods and some that are not so great. And then we're going to go look at a map, and I'm going to show you some great insights into what the Vancouver, Washington market's doing. So stay tuned to the very end, because these are things that you're not going to see anywhere else. I'm Tim Jackson, an Oregon and Washington licensed realtor. I've lived on both sides of the Columbia River, so I know what it's like to live in Vancouver, Washington, and what it's like to live in Portland. And so I know the advantages and disadvantages of both. Stay tuned and subscribe down below to my channel if you are interested in moving to either area. And I am so excited for today's video because there's a lot of insights in here that you probably haven't seen elsewhere. So stay tuned to the very end. Let's get going to my office, where we're gonna actually show you my computer screen and look over all of this great data together. If you've already been watching a lot of my videos, you'll know that I've already done a Portland, Oregon versus Vancouver, Washington. So this video is specifically for people that have already honed in and know that Vancouver, Washington is a place that they have in their searches. Now, if you are looking to relocate up here, definitely sign up for my headhunters list down below, and we've got a ton of exciting information to share with you today. So stay tuned to the end, because there's going to be a lot of great tidbits if you're moving from California, Texas, New York, even out of country. There's going to be a ton of great information for you in here today. So there's a chart here that I'm going to put up on the screen right now, and nobody is talking about this. I don't know of anybody that has shown you this chart. Probably the first person to show you what the tax burden is on the average person living in Portland, let alone look at all 50 states here. Just take a second and really look and see how Washington is the second most tax-friendly state in all of the United States. And if you're in Vancouver, you get the added advantage that the government's always going to find a way to tax you. But if you're living in Vancouver, Washington, you can just jump down the I-5 or the I-205 bridge and do your Costco shopping or your grocery shopping. I mean, Portland's got a ton of vegan or holistic choices when it comes to grocery shopping. There's all sorts of options down in Oregon. So if you are living and working in Washington, specifically Vancouver, Washington, there's going to be a ton of great tax advantages for you. I know a ton of people on a fixed income. I just helped somebody who sold their home in Huntington Beach, California. They sold their place and they bought a brand new construction home in Ridgefield, Washington, where, by the way, there's a new Costco going in, a new In-N-Out burger, so it feels like home for them. But this chart is really cool, because that chart that I showed you is just really cool, because it shows you that you could make your tax burden's not that high, and that's $20,000 for somebody trying to scrape by and make, in this economy, $100,000. It's kind of like the new $60,000 or $70,000. Let's be fair, inflation is up so much that you kind of need to start to be looking at that 6 figures as like, man, this is what it takes to get by in this economy. And so that $20,000 difference between Oregon and Washington there's a huge gap there. And that's a huge reason that people are moving up to Vancouver, Washington, and why they're seeing it as kind of the next safe haven place. Okay, so let's just jump on the map. We're going to get into the commute here. So when you are moving up to Clark County, you definitely want to try to live where you're working, or at least stay away from these major bottlenecks. So I'm going to first show you all the bottlenecks that happen in the Portland metro area. We're going to start with actually down in Portland. You'll see a lot of bottlenecks happening on the Glenn Jackson Bridge, at the I-5-205 split, along 217 here. 26 through the tunnel gets really bad. 84 gets pretty bad. And then this is really why I'm bringing up congestion, is at the I-5 and the I-205 bridge, where Columbia River runs. This separates Vancouver up here and Portland down here. These two bridges, you can actually see the Washington-Oregon border. You can see Vancouver here. this I-5 bridge and this 205 bridge get extremely congested. And so I know a lot of people, if you hate congestion, you hate traffic, and you don't want your life to be misery, I would highly suggest avoiding buying in Clark County and working down in Oregon. Especially since if you're trying to get that tax advantage, which we're going to speak about a little bit later, you definitely want to be working in Vancouver as well as living there, or else you're still going to be paying that state income tax if you're working down in Oregon. Now, I mean, there still are a couple bottlenecks of traffic up in Clark County. I-5 and 205 where they meet can get slightly congested, but nowhere near as bad as Portland's side. And then on 14, it can get a little bit congested. But really, a lot of your main traffic points happen down here. So I would highly advise not purchasing a home in Brush Prairie if you know you're going to be working at the Intel campus out in Beaverton. You would probably be better off just for a comfort of life, just kind of quality of living, buying a nice place in Bethany or something that equates to the Clark County lifestyle. There's definitely places, and that's the huge advantage of working with somebody that's lived in Vancouver and Portland. I know what it's like. I've lived through this experience that you don't have to. I would really just focus on making sure you know where your main areas are going to be first before you just go in and purchase a home. So now that we have the location established, and let's just say that you've heard all this or you already know that Clark County is where you want to move to, we're going to get into some of the best neighborhoods, and we're going to follow that up with some of the best homes. We're going to do a great market report. It's going to be really exciting, so make sure you stay tuned for that. There's some really great insider information where a lot of people are not going to be showing you this. I don't know of any realtors that have the same access and the same numbers that I'm about to put in front of you. So definitely stay tuned for that. So let's just go over first the best Vancouver suburbs, the ones where I would say, if I were buying, I've lived up in this area. Hazeldale is, let's just start it off. If you're looking for the great value area where it's still a great neighborhood, but you don't want to be spending the most, or you want to see a nice return on equity, I'd really say between 99th year and 76th year, you're going to see a lot of great homes pop up for a fairly affordable price point, or really the average price point of Vancouver, for what I would say is a slightly above average Vancouver experience. Philida has already popped off, so you're going to be paying a slight premium to live in places like Philida, which I think is beautiful. Salmon Creek, with its walking trail, is a great place to move to. Mount Vista is very similar. Up into Ridgefield is a lot of new construction going on up here. We've gone up I-5 now. Speaking of, since I have lived in Vancouver and I know the different pinch points, Pioneer Street is the main artery for Ridgefield, and that is about to get overran. I mean, it already is overran with all these new construction communities you can see here that are being built. So I would definitely keep that in mind if you're moving up to Ridgefield. Let's move down. Hawkinson, we're going to go over some of the more expensive homes, and Hawkinson is where you're going to see a lot of those more expensive homes. That's out here in the countryside. You can get a lot of nice view properties because you're getting into the Cascade foothills as you get further east. Battleground is a nice historic old America, little slice of old America with a lot of new construction or newer construction pockets around it. I sold a nice old farmhouse off of Main Street. We're actually going to go down to Camas. Camas is almost like the sister town to Lake Oswego in Oregon. Lake Oswego is the most expensive place to live in all of Portland proper. And Camas has kind of become the little sister community of Lake Oswego. Lots of quality new construction, luxury new construction. And if Camas is a little sister to Lake Oswego, then Washougal is the little sister to Camas. And now you can definitely say I'm going to drive my Bugatti into Camas, or I'm going to drive my Maserati into Camas, but Washougal doesn't quite have that level of luxury living. You're more driving your F-250 into Washougal. It doesn't have that same roll off the tongue, I'm from Camas. It doesn't have that fancy pants talk. Washougal is still not at that level of luxury living, but it does have that nice allure. I would say that if you're moving and want another good value area, Washougal is a great place. Tons of properties that have a nice, this is a hilly area that have a view of the Columbia River. I was actually just out off of 164th near Fisher's Landing. There's a brew pub. There's a lot of different places down here. Let's actually punch it in. Where's the Columbia Tech Center? Brewery. Right, I don't know how I missed it. Like, you guys saw me. I was hovering right there and it's not showing up. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're moving to the Camas East Vancouver area, I'd highly suggest the Fisher's Landing area. There's the Hops Urban Brewery, which I was actually just at today. There's Petit Provence. There's a lot of the same Portland restaurants that the renowned eating has actually been brought up to Vancouver. So a lot of people that live in Vancouver will actually tell you, I don't even go south to Portland anymore to get that level of culture. It's already come to Vancouver. If you want a historic home, we're going to look at some of the homes in that market report I'm telling you about. Vancouver Heights is where I would go to. If you want that historic home, a lot of historic homes are in Portland, but Vancouver doesn't have as many. But Vancouver Heights is just such an established, beautiful little neighborhood with that park in the middle. You can walk down the streets and just see all sorts of established, nice neighborhoods with families playing in the streets. Lots of mid-century moderns in that neighborhood. Not surprisingly, not that many people call me up and say, I want to move to Vancouver, like downtown Vancouver. There are some high-rise condos worth checking out if you want that downtown living lifestyle without as many of the downtown problems that come with downtown Portland. Vancouver's definitely slightly better off. You know, downtown Vancouver is not that big of a downtown area, so it's not like if you come to Vancouver and you think that the downtown is just a huge place. The riverfront is a beautiful place to go to. I've done a lot of videos from there. My last video about the Portland versus Vancouver was shot from the downtown Vancouver waterfront. So there's a lot of great things to do down there. Don't get me wrong. It's just not really like as big of an attraction as some major cities' downtown area is. Still a big area and it's definitely growing. But I wouldn't make it necessarily your first stop. Vancouver Lake is beautiful. Not a lot of homes over there though. So that's kind of a general like overview of the different neighborhoods. You can definitely get more specific. I mean, there's like Starcrest here. I've had a couple buy a beautiful home in the trees there. I think I already mentioned Mount Vista is one that's comparable to Philida as far as quality of living. So really quickly, this is a market report that's going to show you that there are about 4,700 homes for sale in Multnomah County. This is just a set of foundation so you guys can see what Clark County is doing up in Vancouver with the average home sold price of $570,000. So remember that 4,700 homes for sale, $570,000 is the average sales price in Portland. Clackamas County to the south, remember I told you that there's all those fancy schmancy Lake Oswego homes, 12 million, 8 million, 8 million. Yeah, that's Clackamas County. Nearly $1 million is the average list price. Nearly $750,000, over $750,000 is the average sold price. They've got 2,500 homes for sale right now. Washington County, where Nike, Intel, all of that. They got a lot of townhomes, so their average sales price is closer to $650,000. They got 3,400 homes for sale. But let's look at Clark County. Why you are all here? Your average sold price of $640,000, and you got 3,900, nearly 3,900 homes to choose from. Let me narrow that down for you. There's a lot of homes to look at. I'm about to show you, and you really want to have that narrowed down. Relocating is a very stressful thing, and you don't want to be doing everything at once. I can narrow and whittle that list down to the best 5, the best 10. However many homes you want to look at, you say, Tim, I want to see the 20 best homes in the area, and we'll look at 5 a day for 4 days, and then we're going to pick one. If that's your strategy into relocating here, I can do that. If you say, Tim, I've got 3 months to look and I want all the best homes that are on 5 acres with the best view, and we want to look at 3 homes a week, I can make that happen. Whatever your pace, whatever your style is, I can adjust my search, my criteria. Whatever you're looking for, I can adjust that specifically for you. Now, you can see the average sales price in Clark County, $640, whereas in Portland, it's $570. Clackamas County, it's $750. And in Washington County, it's also $640, just like Clark County. A lot of people are moving out of Portland, and a lot of people that are moving into the Portland area from Texas, California, people are moving from all over. Not a lot of them are actually moving into Portland proper anymore. A lot of them are moving into the suburbs like Clark County. It's happening all the time. So yeah, a lot of people have moved out of Portland. There still are people moving to Multnomah County, but it's Portland proper saw its first population decline in years, and a lot of people are moving to these suburbs for a reason. They're beautiful places to live, beautiful places to raise a family, and there's still a lot of jobs available, so that way your commute isn't as high. A lot of business places are moving out of downtown Portland. US Bank is leaving the iconic skyscraper in downtown Portland. So you can see that downtown Portland itself is shrinking, and places like Clark County are taking up that excess. It's a great time to be purchasing in the suburbs of Portland rather than perhaps catching a falling knife, especially the closer to the downtown Portland center that you're getting. Let's very quickly look at a nice little heat map of Clark County's homes for sale. We're going to specifically look at a few that I've hand selected for you. And so who is here watching from California? We're going to start with one just for you. This is a nice little 615 look at that swimming pool. Man, if you're moving from California, I know that a Californian needs that swimming pool. And add in a nice little hot tub. I'm going to make a commitment right now, right here, to all of the viewers watching. You can record this. I'm going to make a promise to you right here, right now. If anybody purchases that swimming pool home with me, I'm going to put on my best suit, and I am going to jump off of that diving board. Let's go to that diving board. I'll jump off of that diving board, boing, boing, boom, into the pool wearing a full suit, full three-piece suit. I will do that if one of you guys, and I'll get it on video and I'll show it here. I'm not a liar. You got me on video, you can hold me to it that I will be jumping into that swimming pool if somebody purchases that home with me. Now, we're going to move on. We had talked about different areas, which are, Hawkinson is where there's a ton of $1 million plus homes. Let's just take a peek at this $1 million on 176. This is just over $1 million, 5 acres. Let's get back to the front photo really quickly because I really think you should see the wraparound porch on this guy. It's got horse stalls. I mean, where are you going to find that anywhere else on the West Coast near a major city for $1 million, $1 million flat, basically? You've really got to ask for that Batman bed in the offer as well. Come on. I mean, for $1 million, you better get that Batman bed. Hey, this one's got a pool too, but I know that doesn't count. Nice garden, beautiful 5 acres with a barn, horse stall. Look at that. Views. Shoot, get out of here. For $1 million, where else are you going to, go down to California, you're going to be paying $10 million for that, right? You Californians would know better. We're actually going to let's look at that nice, I think the best of both worlds, where you're getting kind of the average Vancouver home price, which we talked about, which was, if you recall, $640, $650-ish. And let's look at a slightly above average neighborhood. What I was talking about in the Hazeldale neighborhood near 99th and 76th, if you recall, is a beautiful neighborhood to live in. We're going to take a peek at this home, which is a 1990s build. It's a 3,200 square foot home. It's listed at $650. Hey, if you're negotiating with a guy like me, I could probably even get it down to $640 for you. Leave a comment in the comment section about how that chandelier makes you feel. But pretty simple modern living here. An inspection report isn't going to show too much it's a 2006 build. An inspection report, you could probably almost bet your bottom dollar is going to be a lot cleaner than buying a 100-year-old home. Nice front balcony with a 3-car garage. Man, what 3 cars would you put in there? for under $50,000 total. Curveball. So yeah, I mean, this list though, just so you guys know, you can get this list. There's so many homes to look at and filter through. And if you're moving up here and you're just trying to sort through all of this, you really want a local realtor who knows the neighborhood, who's lived in those areas, who can really compare and contrast for you and do that homework. I can filter all of this down. Let's just say you're moving to Camas. There's still so much to filter through. Do you want old, historic downtown Camas, or do you want something more like new construction, luxury new construction further up north? Sign up for that headhunters list down below so I can filter through and get you the right homes for you. I'd say that you want to look at 5 homes every single day and look at 25 homes total and just really get to know the market. I'm happy to do that. Or if you want to look at every 5-acre property in the area and say, hey Tim, I want to set aside a weekend and look at 5 properties this weekend, you will get the 5 best properties for you filtered out, and through that search will get you exactly what you're looking for. So yeah, just sign up for the headhunters list to make that happen, or just shoot me a text down below and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. You can text me at this number and I will respond. That is my guarantee. Now, if you are relocating up here and you're just wanting to learn more, get to know more about living in Oregon and Washington, subscribe so you can follow along on the journey and just stay in tune with what our market's doing. I'm here to provide that information. I mean, you can see that I'm offering you breaking news, just like that US Bank leaving our main iconic building. That was September 4th, and we're publishing this video September 6th. Like, bada bing, bada boom, I'm recording September 5th. This stuff all just happens. Like, I'm bringing this to your plate, like, right as it's all happening. And so I really want you to be in the know about where you're potentially moving to. So definitely hit that subscribe button. Watch this video next if you enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you next week.